Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in to what is going to be a What's New from e.l.f. video. It's been a hot minute since I've done one of these, and we all know that whenever that happens, e.l.f. just continues to produce new things, launch things in new colors, and so it's about time. We got a lot to talk through. In this video, you're going to see not only reviews, but also a tutorial. Most everything I'm wearing on my face is in this bunch of products I'm about to talk about, so if you also want to see how to get this look, let's go ahead and just dive right in. First, let's talk about some eye primers. They launched a new line of primers called Matte to Metal Eye Primer Transformer. They come in 3 different shades, so naturally when I saw them on the site, I bought all 3 of them because they weren't that expensive. Not only that, but I was also just super intrigued. It's not something I'd heard of, a matte to metal transformer, so I wanted to see how all 3 performed. They have 3 shades in the collection, one of which is a gold. This actually has a subtle peach twist to it. Then there is a taupe, which I think the exterior looks a little like rose gold, but when swatched and on the eye, it's definitely clearly a cool taupe. And then there is a smoky blue gray shade. So you apply these and the instructions say that you apply them directly to the lid and then use a brush to blend them out. Then you can either wear them alone or you can apply shadows over top, and that is where the transformation comes in, because if you apply a matte shadow over top, it will be metallic. I'm wearing the taupe today like the directions say to do. I applied it right to my lid and then went in with a brush to blend out. The brush that I used is another beautifully precise brush. This is the 205 and it's supposed to be like a fluffy blending eye brush. It's really, really nice. Absolutely love the brush. It's another good addition to the whole beautifully precise brush line, of which I have a review of when they first launched these. So if you want to go check that out. I will either click the eye over here or I'll link it down below. But really like this for blending out both cream and powder, because you'll see that I go in and use this in the powder that I used to go over top. But it's just a really good brush to keep things pigmented where you want them and blend them out where you don't, like the crease. What I loved about using it to work with the cream shades is that I could keep that pigmentation on the lid, but then really diffuse it throughout the crease, so it wasn't, you know, quite the harsh line that you can get with so many cream shadows, especially those that are pigmented and or textured, like shimmery, like these are. I also want to mention that when I first used the cream shadows, the first thing I did was blend it out with my finger. Don't do it. There's a reason they recommend a brush, and it's because if you use a finger, it's like you never applied it. It becomes so sheer, and not that there's anything wrong with that, because you can wear these as like standalone eyeshadows, but it definitely loses its pigmentation. So once the taupe was applied, it was looking good. I went in with the eyeshadow palette that I want to talk about, and it is the Mad for Matte Holy Smokes eyeshadow palette. This is the brand new addition to the Mad for Matte collection. At this point, they have 2 others out, both of which I've talked about on the channel. So the first one they came out with was pretty standard neutrals, pretty middle of the road. The next one they came out with included some oranges, some berries, and this one is the cool counterpart. You can see it has smoky grays, you know, deep emerald, cool blues. You have like this slightly warm brown here. By comparison though, it's really not all that warm. I think just against the steely grays and smoky, like smoky deeper grays and blues here, it just looks warm relative to those. And of these shadows, using the same brush, I went in with the lightest kind of beigey brown, and I used that in my crease. Then I went in all over the lid with the shade just above it. That's the one that I said looked kind of warm compared to everything else, and I patted that in all over most of my lid area, kind of avoiding my inner corner. And then in the outer corner, I had to go for one of these bold shades, right? So I went in for the emerald green. Again, all using this same shadow brush they just launched. Really like how it applied, but what I noticed, and I think you'll be able to see it as I have the demo going on here, is that the shimmer pretty much goes away, and I think you'll be able to see, looking at my eyes right now, I think it looks like I'm wearing an all matte shadow look. I don't know if it's the brush, the technique, the shadows, but patting and applying these matte shadows over that shimmery base, it's almost like the shimmer disintegrated and kind of flecked away. It is left in my inner corner because I just didn't apply shadows in some of those areas there. I did apply the kind of soft cream in this palette in my inner corner, but with less blending, or maybe I blended less vigorously, you know, because it's such a small space that I wasn't quite like going in like crazy to blend. That's why some of the, you know, metallic finish or shimmery finish is still preserved in my inner corner, but for the most part, I feel like it looks like I'm wearing matte shadows. It's not metallic or shimmery in any way, shape, or form. So in terms of, you know, this magical shifting base, I would say it's not that so much. I also really don't know that it extends the life of my eyeshadow. I've tried this a couple times under a couple different eyeshadows, most of which were shimmery, so you can really tell that it lacks the shift because I'm wearing an all matte palette. But even those that I have worn over top, you know, that weren't this matte palette, it kind of faded over the course of like not a long time. 4, maybe 5 hours. There was a noticeable difference in fading, and I think the same is true here. You know, you'll be able to see in this demo when I first applied it, and even now I feel like the green has lost a little bit of its pigment and drama. So yeah, the primers are not my favorite, but the Mad for Matte, they have done it again. This is an awesome all matte palette. And it's a good complement to those that they have already launched. Up next is a lip plumping kit. Comes in this cool tin. Inside you get 2 different products, one of which is a cinnamony kind of balm, I guess you would say. It comes in a kind of chubby lip pencil format here. This is the lip plumper. It's definitely a cinnamon base. That's what's kind of, you know, essentially irritating and plumping your lips by bringing the blood to the surface. So you run this across your lips. It subtly, like, I didn't notice any burning, stinging. If this is your first time using a lip plumper or something with lip plumping agents in it, you might experience a little more irritation just because you're not used to the sensation. But personally, this is very minimal. It doesn't hurt. It just kind of tingles, but that's okay because the follow-up product is this really awesome lip moisturizer. Just says hydrating lip essence here on the actual container. But instead of having your average, you know, like felt or doe foot kind of situation up in here, it has these textured like plastic spikes on the top. And so that not only also works to bring the blood to the surface because you're basically massaging your lips, but it also kind of alleviates the itch, which I really, really love, not gonna lie. And it actually does a good job at hydrating lips. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this in the close-up, but I currently am having a little bit of a dry, flaky lip issue, and so doing this prep beforehand really helped in removing some of that excess dead skin, and those that, you know, wasn't removed, it helped soften it so that I could go in later with a separate scrub and help remove it. As far as plumping goes, yes, I noticed a difference because, you know, physically there is that excess blood rushing to my lips. Is it a permanent or even a long-term or even a short-term solution? Not really. I mean, like, I think it's gone down now, and I did that 3 hours ago, you know, so it's a pretty short-term solution, but I do think it's a good immediate lip plumper and certainly at the very least a good immediate lip moisturizer. Next up is another brush from the Beautifully Precise collection, and this one I was super skeptical about just because it kind of looks like a gimmick. It is this, it is number 106, and I don't know what they call this. They don't label these brushes, but basically it's a swirly foundation brush, and it has this little reservoir cut into the bristles you'll be able to see here and then up close, so that you can essentially deposit your liquid foundation there, and then it will help deposit it across your face so you can buff and blend it in, maybe build up coverage in some places and then help buff it out in others. This I actually found worked really well. When Bare Minerals first came out with something similar, it was just a flat top kabuki with a hole in the center. I was not as fond of that. I'm not sure if it's the spirals that help or the size. This one's a little bit smaller and like tapered towards the top, so maybe that kind of helps the buffing and blending action, but something about this just works for me. It does work a little bit slowly. You guys might know if you're new to the channel. First of all, welcome, but if not, I love big honking kabuki brushes that just get the job done like that. This takes a little bit more time, but it helps you get in, you know, like in between your brow and hairline like that, because it's just like the exact right width for that, whereas a kabuki, a larger kind of kabuki, it just messes everything up. So this does have precision on its side. On to the next product. This took me by surprise. This is one of those products where you really underestimate it before you try it. And I just feel like I haven't heard a lot about it. Like, I'll quit teasing it. It is the Targeted Natural Glow Stick. Very unassuming. You're like, great, another stick highlighter. So often with these, I am very nervous about it being too hard of a cream texture, and so you'll put it on top of your makeup, and when you go and try and blend it out, it moves your foundation around, your blush, your contour or bronzer around, especially if you're applying it over a powder product. Sometimes those textures don't always play nice with each other. Oh my goodness. This I applied right to the tops of my cheekbones, and then I took my fingers and just patted that in. It blended in so stinking flawlessly. I'm still in shock. Still in shock because it just there was no streaking. It didn't touch any of the product around, and I had already applied my foundation, a powder bronzer, and a blush over top, and it was just like nothing. So it just dried immediately down into a powdery texture and blended in flawlessly with my skin. Plus, look at this glow. Like, oh my goodness, it's like seriously intense. These are one of those products where I need to go back on the website to get one in every color with the hope that the consistency is the same across all of the product, because it's the best highlighter maybe ever. Not just in like stick cream formulas, but like ever. It's amazing. Last, let's talk about lips. I have quite a few lip products to talk about actually. First of which, makes sense, is a lip primer. This is a liquid lip primer. I don't know if when they say that they specifically mean it's for liquid lipsticks or if it just, I mean, the texture literally is liquid. But they launched it in conjunction with also releasing matte liquid lipstick, so I bought the two together. This lip primer is pretty stinking nice. Like I said, I'm struggling with some dry lip issues right now, which means I have some texture. Some of those, hate to say it, super gross, but you know, like dead skin flakes on my lips right now. And applying this, you're supposed to apply it and let it dry before you go in and apply another lip product. It evens out the texture of my lip so much that it makes applying any lipstick, really, not just the liquid lipsticks, but I also will have a lip video where I'm trying on some new Becca lipsticks coming shortly, which are very hydrating in their own right, but because of some of the pigmentation of the deeper shades, you could just see them cling to my dry patches, and when I applied this beforehand, it was like it was gliding over a perfect lip, a perfectly smooth surface. And so if you tend to struggle with lip texture regularly, I would highly recommend you pick this up because it's super affordable and super effective. On to the liquid matte lipsticks. These are actually pretty good as well. They're not the longest wearing matte liquid lipstick I've ever tried. They're also not the most comfortable. They do dry down pretty dry, but they're entirely transfer proof through drinking. I mean, drinking anything, pretty much coffee, tea, water, yada yada. Eating, I do notice a little bit more wear, but they did withstand a lot more wear than I anticipated, like pizza, for instance. You know, it was really only worn away in the center of my lips. The rest of it was pretty well preserved, and so they're actually pretty durable for how affordable they are. So if, at this point, after the millions upon billions of liquid lip launches, you still haven't found your one true formula, you might as well give these a try. And last up for the lips, last up for everything actually, are these matte to shimmer lip transformers. I have two, they're lip palettes essentially with 4 lipstick shades, matte, I would say satin lipstick shades, and 1 shimmery transformer shade. I, like I said, have 2 of the color collections basically, but there are 4 in total. 1 nude, 1 pink, 1 red, and 1 deep berry. And overall, I'm a little mixed on the concept. So I am wearing the nudes, some of the nudes today. You'll see that I first go in with the deepest shade here and a lip brush, and I apply that to the perimeter of my lips, and then I go in with the lightest shade here for a little bit of a gradient action, and I apply that to the center. These are super creamy, very soft, super easy to blend together. I think you'll see that like during the demo. They're just really beautiful lip products, and then the transforming shimmer shade here is pretty much like you would expect. It's just kind of like a translucent lip balmy type product with a little bit of glittery shimmer in it. Not overwhelmingly so, but just like enough to give it some pizzazz, if you know what I'm saying. So I really like the products themselves, but I am not a potted lip product person, and it's because, especially with products like these that are so pigmented, is you really need a lip brush. Even if you're using the nudes, like I think you could get away with a little bit more if you're using the nudes and just want to, use your finger and apply it to your lips, but the reds, holy smokes, these are super pigmented and super beautiful. I love that you get a range of undertones here. You get, kind of a warmer orangey red, then you get a cooler true red, a bricky red, and then a gorgeous crimson, kind of just dark crimsony brown based red with your transformer shade over here. These I need to have a lip brush to apply because they are so pigmented. And while I wouldn't say they stain the lips, they are not transfer proof. They totally come off on glasses, things like that, but they are long wearing, which is really nice. There's just something about the texture where it makes them, you know, not stain the lips, but just like a little harder to wear away. So it's good, but again, that's why you need the precision of a lip brush to go in and apply it. So bottom line, what I'm saying is I don't know that these are for me. I don't know that I'll reach for them just from a convenience factor standpoint, but if you don't mind the lip brush thing and you're looking for a really cool, very utilitarian, because you get so many different, a variety of shades of one particular color in one palette, and it makes it very versatile whether it's day to night or just different looks that you want to wear. This is a very cool palette. You just got to keep in mind that it might require a lip brush. So that's it from me, guys. Those are all the latest things from e.l.f. that I tried. I'm probably not totally up to date because in September they are doing like Release-a-Palooza, where every day in September there is either a new product or a new combination of products that they're making available on the e.l.f. website for sale. So it's probably not the latest, but it's what I got going on, and it had been a while since I've done it, and I always love watching a good e.l.f. video because they're so affordable and they're really upping their quality game. So hope you guys enjoyed. Would love to hear of any of the new products you have tried from the brand. Let me know down in the comments below. Besides that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye, guys.